Good morning. Wanted to share some of my crazy thoughts. Don't take me serious, alright? I've been thinking about what is the self, what is not the self, what is logic, what is beautiful, what is sublime, what is objective, what is subjective. And I suppose knowing the distinction between all these things is part of our education. Education nowadays almost doesn't exist. People are so focused on their jobs that if they have children, they don't educate them. They leave them in the care of strangers, and I suppose they are counting on state and I don't know, Instagram to educate them. And this is not going to end up well. It's not. A successful society, but think in terms of tribe. A successful tribe is a tribe that passes values from generation to generation. You know, that is the most important thing. It's the what they call legacy. It's the spirit of that people. Right now, the spirit of peoples is being challenged by the modern world, the consumerist modern world, corporatist modern world. Yeah. Consumerism, corporatism, you know, it's all about um, making money, you know. It's all about making money. Eventually, you end up in a very nihilistic place. And you know what? Once you are in, it's very difficult to get out because it's so rewarding. There's so much to be made. Eventually, your career ends up replacing the self, you know, almost like in a religion, if that makes any sense. Slowly, bite by another bite and another bite, the self gets devoured, metaphorically speaking, by the career. So if they have children, of they don't have a personal life. They don't. If they have children, they leave the children in the care of strangers. They don't care anymore. They are so focused on, and they don't pass values to their children. They don't teach them about anything, and they are counting on the state to raise their children. So important things like knowing what's objective, what's subjective, what's beautiful, what's sublime. It's not taught, you know. That opens the door to ideologies to just flood in. Look, everybody is here at our disposal. Let's brainwash them in some bullshit, and no resistance is met. All in the name of profit. The West in general. But these ideas, they start, they have the nexus, the origin in the United States because it's a land of freedom. They have a constitution that protects the freedom of speech, and that is very important. But what is the point on having, free speech if you don't have critical thinking? Imagine you have access to all this information. Free speech, you have right to all this information, but you have to consume, digest that information, and then come to a conclusion. All right. That's the point of freedom, but not everybody is willing to go through that. They prefer to consume a pre-packed, digested version and just go with it. People are lazy by nature, most of them. There's a small percentage that actually still uses their mind. But most people are lazy. So since the 60s, in my opinion, when TV started getting into in everybody's room, they started feeding them this pre-digested version of things. Everybody loved it. Our lives is awesome. So it started there, and it kind of bleeds into the rest of the world. It gets exported into the old continent. So around here, people are also complaining that their children, these new generations, they don't know arithmetic. They don't know cursor. They don't know how to talk, how to explain themselves. They don't know how to complete, a sentence. They don't know how to hold a thought for 5 minutes. They don't know how to do anything. But the thing that they know is, be glued to the screen, you know, to the smartphone screen. That thing they know how to do. In America, you can, because they have free speech, you can, in the public, can put a mic at the disposal, some cameras, and you can talk to people. You can express and tell. You can show. But there's the freedom of speech. You can share your thoughts. You can, you know, try to convince people because I've seen um, people in the streets. I'll pay you. They were saying, I'll pay you for you to watch one of our propaganda videos. It's right there in that screen. You just have to sit for 1, 2 minutes, put the headgear on, and I'll pay you. Because they are so convinced in the power of propaganda, manipulating those emotional strings, and triggering you. Maybe that 2 minute video will be enough to get you convinced to buy their products, to consume their products. It's something that is allowed. Around here, I don't think people would have the courage to do such a thing. You can still see, religious, you know, knocking on people's doors, trying to share their version of salvation, but people don't pay attention. But you wouldn't see anyone with an open mic. They would get, hit with some tomatoes right away. I think people around here don't no longer tolerant, have no tolerance for gibberish, I suppose. Um, but you can do it, right? This morning, as I was eating breakfast, there was news that this guy was unalived. He used to also have an open mic in public places, debating things of the day. I have caught some of these here and there. I'm not interested in the why. I'm interested in the nuances. What leads from point B to point A to point B? What's the nuance in between? What's the cause? What's the nuance that causes the effect? You know, I'm more interested in that. So yeah, I caught some. So I was like, yeah, the guy clearly likes to trigger people. Yes, they talk a lot about facts, but most of the times they were talking about feelings. And a thing that I noticed, and it's all over the place, is that people identify with their beliefs. the beliefs replace the self. It's weird. So when they were talking about objective things and facts and stuff, others was talking in feelings. And when you start talking in feelings and identifying, you have to, talk about these things, um, uh, clearly. You have to distance yourself from the information, dissect it, debate it. If you start identifying with it, then you think you are getting personally attacked. No, we are just talking about ideas. You can debate ideas, you can challenge ideas, right? But feelings, that's a different stuff. You better not go into the feeling area. Why? Because people take it personally and they get their feelings hurt, and that's not a good thing. But you have to learn from early on when you are talking with someone, debating them, if they have realized how to identify the true self and separated it from the beliefs. Beliefs and ideas can be challenged, but not feelings. So when the beliefs and replace the being, replace the self, that's a very dangerous place. You, that's a sick person actually that needs help. In my opinion, they are emotionally sick, spiritually and mentally sick. Although I'm not a specialist in anything, all right. But the system nowadays, the medical system, is shilling for the system, the pathological control system. So they just want to get paid their salary because we are living in one of those weird dystopias, right? They are out for your mind. They want to capture your mind. They want to capture your mind, the self. They want to capture it and replace it with propaganda. And it's over the place. It's either from corporations, world international corporations, or government. Everybody, religions, they all want one thing, is to occupy the body, substitute the mind, the self, with their bullshit. And then that's when you become a slave. You The indoctrination system has a lot to do, and I think it's been um, getting very purposely, what's the expression? The schooling system. You see, in every communist orientated society, they have this tendency of bringing everybody to the same level. The exceptional ones are going to be shunned. Yes. You have to behave like everybody else. You can't stand out. Yeah. So when they say such stupid things like nobody's left behind, what they are saying is everybody has to be at the same level and that's it. If there's someone exceptional, you better, you're going to get destroyed by the system. That's why most people who are very successful never went to college or whatever, or they were high school dropouts. The system wants obedient consumers, and that's it. They're trying to replace the self with their ideology, their bullshit. Learning to differentiate that is education. So, anyway, when someone gets the self replaced with some ideology and they present someone talking bad about it, they get triggered. they get triggered, and if they are really in a bad situation, they can do, you know, unspeakable things. So talking in public is like putting a target, especially when it's in matters of perception. What is objective reality? What is spirituality? What is the truth? What is beautiful? What is the sublime? When you start talking about these things and it's in conflict with what these people have been taught, there's, there might be problems. That's when you get these out of nowhere, you get these people doing, these unspeakable acts. You attacked my cult, you attacked my beliefs, you attacked the self. It's almost like you attack them. That's when they say words hurt, or hurt. Words can be almost like bullets, or you know uh, because they confuse the information, they confuse the beliefs with the self, you know. Why are they saying everything is it's a society that molds and shapes people's gender or opinions or whatever? Why did they say that? They're talking feelings. They're not talking about facts. They're not talking about objective reality. They're talking about feelings and ideology. All right. I've been talking for 18 minutes almost. I'm sorry. Have a nice day.